Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. I hope it's not too wobbly. I'm trying this new thing out with new lighting, new setup for my phone, for my camera and everything, so I hope it's just not too wobbly for everyone. And I got this big old zit that I cannot cover up to save my life. But welcome back. How's everyone doing? Hi, how are you? How's everyone doing? Let me know down below if you guys had a good weekend, good week. What you guys did. Like, I would like to know. Let me know. So yeah, a couple things. I hope everyone's been enjoying my giveaway. I did recently on my True Crime Tuesday Instagram, which I'll link right here. I have a giveaway, which is a free t-shirt and 2 of these candles that I make, one there and one there, and they will be for the giveaway. So all you have to do is go over there and like and share the post and you're automatically entered, and it's for everyone across the world. So let's hope that you guys, fingers crossed, that you guys enter. So let's get into it. Let's get right into this one. So if you guys are new here, my name is Jordan MacLean and I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday for you for true crime, where I also do my makeup, but the true crime is here in Canada, so that's exciting. I'm very cold today. I was going to dress nicer, but then I was like, it's cold and I don't care, so I'm going to do a full glam look with just this ugly outfit on. So the next thing with this case is, while I was doing my research, I was like, oh, this will be an easy one, super chill, super whatever. This is a two-parter. I have never done so much research and so much backlash on a case before, and like I always thought, like, what's the name, Paul Bernardo and people like that they were huge and that they would take me like 2 days to do. But this guy, like, I have 18 pages of information on this guy, so he is a newer dude, so I think that might be one of the problems. But let me tell you, this is just crazy. So let's get into it. This guy is a crazy guy. He was the newest Canadian serial killer. His name is Bruce McArthur. Let's jump right into this. I'm sorry, every time I press play, it just goes wobbly for a bit. So Bruce McArthur was born October 8th, 1951 in Lindsay, Ontario, and was raised on a farm in Angley near Woodville in the Karratha Lake region. Some beautiful names. Why can't we just name everything Smith and Bob, right? Way easier for me to pronounce, but that's cool. In addition to raising McArthur and his sisters, his parents fostered troubled children in Toronto, often with 6 or 10 in their care at any given time, and had a good reputation in the area according to the family and friends. So good people. Like, that's like the one thing that always scares me, is I'm gonna try really hard to raise my kids right and, you know, hopefully don't abuse them and don't give them any complexes so that they don't turn out to serial killers. But this guy sounded like he just had an overall good family, and yet he murdered people. Young McArthur attended a one-room schoolhouse outside Woodville. A classmate recalled him trying to be teacher's pet and informing of mischief by the other boys with whom he did not fit in with. So he was kind of a nobody right off the jump, which usually they are. He also known for wine singing contests, like winning. Sorry, I can't read or do anything today. My mind's elsewhere. But he was also known to win singing contests. McArthur's mother was an Irish Catholic and his father was a Scottish Protestant, so 2 different religions. Both were devout, causing arguments in which McArthur's supported. So with both his parents being very devout in their religion, this led to a decision from his strict father, who McArthur later felt may have sensed his homosexuality. So Bruce was he knew he was gay at a young age. But, you know, if you have religious families, you can't really come out and tell them that you're gay or anything like that, just due to the fact it's a no in religion, which doesn't make sense, because religion's like, be yourself, unless you're gay, black, trans, Hispanic. So yeah, it's crazy when you have to think of it that way. So McArthur had trouble accepting his sexual orientation due to the fact that his parents also did not like his sexuality at all. They thought it was a sin, it was a no. They just assumed it was something that shouldn't be in the life. So due to his sexual orientation, which in rural Ontario at the time was kind of seen as abnormal or odd, it just wasn't something that back in the day was okay. Again, he was kind of around the 60s and 70s, which was not like a good time for people who were gay, just because it was the AIDS thing was going around where everyone thought that if you touched somebody's hand, you got AIDS, even though that wasn't the case. So MacArthur at this time was being bused to a nearby Falls Secondary School for his secondary education, where he met and began dating Janice Campbell. So it's a woman. Both graduated in 1970, and MacArthur later graduated from a program in general business and married Campbell when he was 23. So again, he knew he was gay. He knew he had all these things going on, and he just was like, you know, trying to hide it, which, like, I kind of feel bad for Janice, because it's not really the nicest thing to be the wife of somebody who's actually closeted. I always think of Bohemian Rhapsody, when Fred McMurray, or the guy from Queen, come out, whatever his name is, and he's like, I'm bisexual, and she's like, no, Freddie, you're gay. Like, I just always think of that, because it's like, you know, you're hiding it, and he shouldn't, but whatever. MacArthur began working at Eaton Department Store as a buyer and assistant around 1973 in a downtown Toronto building, later demolished for construction for the Eaton Centre. A few blocks north where MacArthur was working, a gay village was forming on Yonge Street. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but probably not. Yonge Street between College and Wesley Street. Same-sex adult sexual behaviors having been decriminalized in 1969. So this kind of was like a big deal, and kind of like, you know, MacArthur or Bruce was able to do his sexuality again because it's non-criminalized, and he's like now, you know, getting back into himself, getting back into the groove. So MacArthur left Eaton in 1978 and began working as a travel salesman for McGeorge Socks. So just going house to house selling socks. That's cool. Soliciting department stores to carry his merchandise. He later worked for a merchandising representing Stanfield, a garment company. So he was, you know, he bounced around, nothing too crazy. So in about 1970s, this is when Bruce's dad, I'm going to say Bruce or MacArthur, kind of going back, same person. His father was diagnosed with a brain tumor and was sent to a nursing home. MacArthur became disappointed when his mother took interest in another man, which I feel like a lot of people would, right? Your parents kind of grow up together, you see them loving each other, and the next thing you know, it's like, ugh, that's not good. So she took interest in another man and grew much closer to his father at this time, which, if you remember, I talked about earlier how he didn't really enjoy his dad because he was gay, and his dad was very religious and wanted nothing to kind of do with him because he's gay. So this was kind of like a change in the relationship for the good. So his mother died of cancer in 1978 and his father died in 1981. So his dad outlived his mother. So that was good. And well, not good. I don't know why I say that was good. It's not good when anyone dies. So in 1979, MacArthur and his wife moved into a house in Ormond Drive in Oshawa. By 1981, they had a daughter and a son. And in 1986, the MacArthurs bought a home in Cartreff Avenue in Oshawa. He became very active in his church, keeping himself busy to avoid explaining his homosexuality. So he really didn't he just kind of kept himself busy in the limelight, going to church, because if you go to church, you're not gay. Even though that's complete opposite. People can be gay and believe in God, but a lot of people don't believe in that, so whatever. That's cool. Arthur began having sexual affairs with men in the early 1990s. More than a year later, he came out of the closet to his wife, but they continued living together. Sometime after 1993, MacArthur's employment in the clothing trade came to an end, and the couple faced financial difficulty, in part due to legal issues connecting to their teenage son, Todd, who was obsessively making obscene phone calls to women he did not know. The couples mortgaged their home in 1997 and declared bankruptcy in 1999. So earlier in his life, MacArthur separated from his wife in 1997, and he finally moved out and was like, okay, done, gonna start living my best life as being a gay man, which he was. So he separated her in 1997, moved to Toronto as there was no gay community in Oshawa at the time. And, you know, he frequented the bars. Where he moved in Toronto. One of the bars was Church Wesley, Toronto's gay village, and moved into an apartment on Don Mills Road while pursuing a 4-year relationship with another man. When they broke up and his divorce was being finalized, MacArthur saw a psychiatrist and was prescribed Prozac for several months. And about this time is when he attended to gain work as a landscaper. So he was, you know, going through some stuff. He wasn't feeling like his best self. He lost the man that he loves, and his divorce was finalized. So, you know, he's doing his like true self, being a gay man, but at that same time, you know, he kind of was lost. He found himself, but he kind of didn't at the same time, and it was a tough time for him. So what do we do when it's a tough time for us? We do go get some drugs, get some antidepressants, get some anti-anxiety meds, get some Prozac, pop a Prozac and go to the strip clubs. You know, that's what we do, obviously. I have 2 visions on what I kind of want to do for my look. Either one's probably going to turn out horrible, but we can give it our best shot. So just after noon on October 31st in 2001, a few weeks after his 50th birthday, MacArthur followed an actor and model, Mark Henderson, into his apartment building after being invited into Henderson's apartment to see his Halloween costume. Cute, right? Like, no harm, no foul there. MacArthur struck Henderson several times from behind with an iron pipe that he often carried. Henderson fought back before losing consciousness. He called 911 when he woke and was taken to the St. Michael's Hospital. He had suffered injuries to his head and body and needed several stitches on the back of his head and his fingers, as well as 6 weeks of physiotherapy. So Bruce messed him up bad. He went for the kill, and that's scary. Like, to me, that's scary. Like, you're just gonna show somebody, oh, come look at my costume, and next thing you know, you're attacked. You just can't trust people these days, which sucks. Like, you can't really trust anyone. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know when someone's gonna come out of nowhere, and they all look nice, but they're not. MacArthur, who turned himself in after the attack, said he did not remember the incident or why he might have done it. He pled guilty to the charges of assault with a weapon and assault causing bodily harm, and on April 11, 2003, received a conditional sentence of 729 days, 2 years less a day. A further charge of carrying a concealed weapon was withdrawn at the time. The Crown Attorney had early believed jail time was warranted, but agreed to a conditional sentence after the preceding report suggests MacArthur was a low-risk offender and that he was not going to do it again. And boy, were they wrong. Boy, were they wrong about that. He was a low-risk offender. Just you wait. That's what MacArthur said. Just you wait, low-risk offender. So the victim said the Crown had been traumatized by the incident, did not provide a victim impact statement for the sentencing, and there was no concern that MacArthur's unexplained behavior may have been due to the combination of anti-seizure medication with some other medication I cannot pronounce, nor even going to try to pronounce, a muscle relaxant, which is sometimes taken right before sex in the gay community, like poppers or something like that, I think they're called. So MacArthur avoided prison, spending the first year of his sentence under house arrest, followed by a 6-month curfew and 3 years of probation, which is like unheard of. Me being from Canada and working in the justice field, I never heard of that long of probation. Like, that's crazy. Like, they're always like 6 months, whatever. We'll see you in like 2 because we all know you're probably gonna break it. That's just how it goes. Like, that's just like what I'm used to hearing. I've never heard of just like, oh, whatever. That's a long sentence for not going to jail. I think I'd rather just go to jail. Just kidding, no, I wouldn't. So during the sentence, he was barred from church, and Wesley expected to work and medical appointments. He had to stay at least 10 meters, 33 feet from the victim's home or workplace, and could not spend time with male prostitutes. Females were totally okay, but if you were a male prostitute, was a no, which just seemed, to me, that seems like an odd request, that you can't hang out with male prostitutes. Like, is that written in the probation order that you can't hang out with them? That's weird. That's weird to me. Let me know if you guys think that's weird. MacArthur was forbidden to possess firearms for 10 years. He was not to purchase, possess, or consume drugs without a medical prescription. And specifically not to possess poppers. That's what I was talking, the drug that makes you like easier for you to have sex or something like that. I think that's the drug. I'm not too sure. So he wasn't allowed poppers. He also had to submit his DNA to a database and was compelled to undertake psychological, wow. Was ordered to take psychological counseling, including anger management. A criminal defense lawyer found the list of conditions uncommon and suggested that the judge was concerned that MacArthur was a danger to male prostitutes, which is weird because earlier they said that he was not a danger and they didn't think he was going to reoffend. Next question I have for everyone. Does everyone have a good eye when it comes to like blending and stuff, and then they just have like a garbage eye? I find this eye never does what I want it to do, and this eye is always looking good. But that's just me. So I always have to make this eye look worse than it is because of this eye. So a retired homicide detective noted that parole conditions were not the best and not published or made public, knowing that the parole violators were caught only if they come to the attention of the police. So that was another concern, that even though he committed all these crimes and he did all this stuff, it wasn't known to society and it wasn't known to like the prostitutions or anyone like that. So they couldn't tell the cops if he actually did it or not because it was unknown to them. So it was kind of like stupid that they did that. So in 2014, MacArthur was granted a record suspension on his conviction, which was expunged from the record, which means like if you look up his name, you're not going to find what he did, which is annoying. So it was expunged from his record. It would not have appeared in criminal background checks during investigation. Most records exhibits were destroyed in 2010, and compliance with the Toronto Police Services policy. So you look up this guy and you're not going to see that he was a violent offender. He did have his DNA in the system still. I don't think that really ever goes away. It's just kind of like hidden a little bit more. So they did have that still. So that was good. But it's still annoying that he got his record expunged, even though he is like a really crazy guy. This is getting crazy. So I'm going with like a greenish blue today. And then my second part of this one, I'm going to go with a purple look. So get ready for the fun looks. This is like an everyday, going to like grocery shopping, just, you know, normal, nothing too crazy, just a little something just to get you going. So yeah, he is now a walking criminal and you don't have to really look him up, which is super cool. The only surviving documents were the transcripts of the guilty plea and the sentencing hearing, and the reports and the pre-sentencing reports, orders during the trial, and pictures of the victim's injuries. That was the only thing left that you could find on this case, which again, that's pretty annoying, I think. If I was the victim, I'd be pissed, right? Like, this guy probably ruined his life, made him seem like he had no, like, you lost your trust in people and strangers then, because this guy did all this. And now he can walk free. So that's cool. I look crazy right now. And that's totally cool. I'm totally fine with that. So in 2002, while the assault case was still before the courts, MacArthur registered... Sorry, I find it really hard when you're like trying to do precision work. And to... you know, put your makeup on and read. So while he was in courts for the assault, he registered with Rakin, a gay fetish dating website for men into BDSM, which is bondage, dominant, something, submissive, something. I don't know exactly what BDSM stands for. Like, I know what it is, but I could not tell you what the acronym is for. While his profile noted he was interested in submissive men, he was attracted on numerous gay dating sites. He was active, on numerous gay dating websites, including Silver Daddies, Man Jam, Grindr, Bear 411, Bear Forest, Scruff, Daddy Hunt, Squirt, and Growler. I didn't even know there was that many gay dating websites. I just knew about Grindr. So we learn something new each day, right? I didn't know that there was that many dating sites. So that's cool. Good for them. MacArthur joined Facebook in 2001 and cataloged his nightlife with pictures, parties, you know, all that fun stuff. Vacations, birthdays, dinners, concerts. Young man of South Asian or Middle Eastern descent were in several of his pictures. By the time MacArthur had done a part of the gay community and was regularly at the bars, and since 2007 and 2008, he was living on the 9th floor apartment at Leaside Towers, a neighborhood populated mainly by immigrants about 5 kilometers north of the Church of Rusley. So he's kind of like becoming a well-known guy in the gay community. People know him, people like, they see him and they're not really like too threatened, because like once you kind of go to bars constantly and stuff like that, and you're like big into the gay community, like it's not that big of a deal when people see you out and about. So he was like pretty well known and not considered much of a threat at the time, which is, I don't know if that was, it's not good, because what he did was horrible. So he was getting highly involved in the gay community in Toronto. MacArthur
in 2003.
That was weird. So MacArthur in 2003, banishment from the Church of Wellesley remained well known, and he had developed a reputation for BDSM and rough sex. In 2011, he told acquaintances named Robert James about an incident in which he had been asked to leave a coffee house, which caused MacArthur to knock all of the glasses off the counter in a rage. So this is when he started like acting really out and, you know, not started showing that he was not kind of a good guy. I hate doing eyeliner on camera. I'm gonna do my eyeliner off. Alright, I tried something a little different and I don't know if I like it, but we will see. So, back to MacArthur. So, he was banished. He had this little anger issue where he decided to knock off a bunch of things at a coffee shop. And according to James, MacArthur turned red and screamed about effing efforts, telling stories about me, and you're just like the rest of them. You think I'm crazy. Toronto restaurant owner remembered MacArthur as a friendly regular towards the end of 2013, inquired when MacArthur came alone instead of with his usual company, and was kind of like, hey, where's your boyfriend? And he said he was on vacation. And when Khan noted that he had seen the man the previous day, MacArthur angrily left and never returned. So he was slowly, you know, becoming more agitated, becoming more mean, becoming just, you know, this is when it started to kick in that something's not right with this guy. And people were noticing. People were like, he was usually a fun-loving guy who would go to all the events, who was just fun at bars. And now, since his like sexual addiction of BLM kicked in, and it like really messed him up and just like became his whole life. So Arthur had become a self-employed landscaper operating under the name Artistic Design. A colleague who installed water features on 3 of MacArthur's projects described him as a gardener operating out of a little van and old tools. He said that MacArthur was always accompanied by an older white man who appeared to be romantically involved with him, and a day laborer, usually of a South Asian or Middle Eastern kind of, you know, skin color or something. So I'm just going to put my lashes on quickly. So he was kind of into like the foreigners. Most of MacArthur's clients were wealthy elder women who found him charming, and had built a client base through personal recommendations. During the off season, MacArthur portrayed Santa Claus, which kind of reminds me of like John Wayne Gacy, who was a clown in his off days, and made floral gifts for charities. So he seemed just like a good guy. MacArthur's initial separation with his wife really was heated, but then they went to court and everything and they got it settled. His son Todd, I think I mentioned earlier, really did not accept his gay dad, really did not like that, and made obscene phone calls. He was released on bail, ordered to stay with his father at his Toronto apartment and assist with the landscaping business. A former friend of Todd's visited one of the nights and discovered the wall of MacArthur's bathroom was decorated with photos of naked men, with, you know, erections. He said the most of the men appeared to be East Indian, and that Todd said that they were men who his father knew. MacArthur did not hide the fact and laughed over it in breakfast, which is weird. I think if my dad was gay and I had to stay with him, I don't think I would like really appreciate him just posting nude photos of his men. Like, I wouldn't care if he was gay, but I'd like nude photos all over the place. Like, that's weird, Dad. That's weird. To me, that's weird. So, yeah. His son Todd also was like, that's a little weird. So in November 2012, the TPS launched a task force doubling the project house in September of 2006-2010 for the disappearance of Skanda Navatrium, I'll put it right there, believing that he had been murdered and had no leads. According to the 2018 WM investigation, a man posted a cannibal website, Zembab Meat, in 2012 that he had killed and eaten a man in Toronto, which had led to the format of the project Houston. Police briefly investigated the possible link between Nevada's murder and the convicted killer of Luca Magnotta. And if you don't know that guy, I will hopefully do him or you guys can watch Don't F With Cats on Netflix. It's so good. It's all about him, but they do so good. Although this lead was never eventually abandoned for lack of evidence, so they were like, I don't think it's him. And in June of 2013, Project Houston had identified 2 missing persons case linked by geographic and lifestyle. I can't pronounce these names. Basir and Hamid. Like Navatram, both men were middle-aged immigrants from South Asia. Who likes South Asians? We all know who. Originally who disappeared from Church and Wellesley between 2010 2012. And who lived there? We know who. An anonymous tip linked MacArthur to Navatrium and Khalid lead police to investigate him. And on November 11, 2013, the police had been told that he had a romantic relationship with Navatrium and had visited the Kahan. MacArthur told police that he knew both men and regularly interacted with them at a gay bar, but denied being in a relationship with him. MacArthur also admitted to employing one of them with whom he had broken off a sexual relationship with due to the employment. Project Houston concluded, with no evidence to link the disappearance, the crime had been committed or identified a suspect. According to 2006 case summary, there was still nothing to explain what had happened to these men. So even though it was clearly MacArthur's type, and in his MacArthur lived there, he hired these men, he knew them, he had all these connections, the police could not just, pinpoint him. So on June 2006-2007, one day after attending Pride Toronto, Anderson Kissman disappeared from Cambridge Town, and was last seen in the area of his residence in Richenstor Street. Why can't we just call everything super easy names? Why does everything have to be crazy? I don't get that. On the evening of June 28th, leading that no one had seen Kinsman in a couple of days, Ted Haley, another friend, gained access to his apartment. They found no signs of disturbance, although the 17-year-old cat was out of food and water, which is sad. That's really sad. They reported Kinsman's disappearance to the police the following day. Kinsman, who was openly gay and had deep roots in the community, was regarded as a stable and responsible man whose friends felt he would not suddenly leave, and certainly not without his cat. Which is like, if people know me and I went disappearing and I didn't take my dog, if my dog is gone too, I probably just dipped and moved away and took my dog and didn't tell anyone. But if Vader is still here in the house, I was kidnapped. I don't just leave my baby anywhere. So he doesn't, or his prescription for medication. It was also noted that unlike Kingsman to go anywhere without notifying his friends or family, Kingsman was active on social media, but investigators found his cell phone was turned off the day of his disappearance. So there's another guy missing. And at the end of July 2017, the TPS created a new task for Project Prism to investigate the disappearance of Kingsman and other man Selman Eason, and to look for any links with the unsolved disappearance investigation under the Project Houston. Greg Downer, a friend and colleague of Kingsman who set up a Facebook group dedicated to finding him and other missing men, organized on August 1st community safety meetings in which the police gave an overview of the task force and thanked the community for the abundance of information that they have received from queer refugees, transgenders, two-spirited people. Spoke of their vulnerability, experiencing desperation, violence within the LGBTQ community. Downer's group, That Missed Rainbow Community, provided strategies to staying safe for people who are in the LGBTQ and for safe areas to meet people that you find on dating apps, just because so many people were going missing from that area and from that community. They were trying really hard. Realizing the difficulty police faced from judicial authorization for data in several locations outside Canada, which caused delays in critical early days of the missing persons investigation, Downer's appealed to dating apps to provide the option of users to consent to their data being released and police if they went missing. Safety hotlines were also set up for this to speak to police. So the fears of a serial killer stalking Church and Wellesley grew on November 29th, when the body of Tess Ritchie was found by her mother in the alleyway 4 days after she was reported missing. The following day, police announced that the body of Alla Wells, a homeless transgender woman, had been identified. Her body had been discovered in Rosedale Avenue in August. Because of the fear of the community, TPS Chief Mark Sanders had an unforeseen, he held, why can't I think of the word, when they speak to people on December 8th, a news conference. A news conference and 3 separate investigations onto the death of Ritchie and Wells and the disappearance of Kingsman and Isman. Although the case occurred in close proximity, police did not believe that they were related. Saunders said that they had no evidence of a serial killer. So this is where I'm going to end it for. We're not even at the good stuff. So far MacArthur has assaulted someone. He has had weird outbursts of rage. He has been downloading all these apps and all these weird kinky websites. So he's in it to win it. Like, he is here, he's trying, he's getting as many people as he can. He has a fetish for immigrants of the Asian, South Asian, or Middle Eastern type of ethnicity. So this guy knows what he wants and he's gonna get it. So that's where I'm gonna stop. If you guys are familiar with this case, you guys kind of know where it goes from there and what people find and what kind of escalates for here. If you don't know about this case, I want you guys to remember that he's a landscaper and that he was dealing with old tools and his type of men that he liked, because this gets a little wild once things kind of explode from here. And this like shook Toronto, especially the LGBTQ community, because of him targeting them. I do believe that the transgender woman and the little girl, the 17-year-old girl, I don't think they were his. I think he was pretty patternized. Like, he was like, this is what I do, this is who I kill. And I don't think he killed those people, but I could be wrong. Who knows? So I want to thank you guys for sticking with me and watching this video with me. I know it's a part 2 and I know this is completely different, and I kind of left you guys at a cliffhanger that there's, potentially a serial killer in Toronto. Who could it be? We all know who it is. But what did he exactly do? We will find out. So again, all we know is he's into different type of ethnicities. He's a landscaper, and he's been having outrageous bursts, and he's been going on these weird dating sites looking for people. That's what we know for right now. So make sure you guys keep that in mind, right? All right, so I will see you guys next Thursday coming up, and that will be the day I will announce my giveaway winner. So if you guys don't know, go to my @ThrillerThursday, I'll put it here, website. Well, it's my Instagram, and I want you guys to get going on sharing it for the giveaway. You win a t-shirt and some candles that are above me. So I hope you guys are ready, and I want you guys to like and share, and enter in the giveaway so one of you lucky people can win. Again, my name is Jordan MacLean, and I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday for you guys to tell you guys true crimes that have happened here in Canada. So I hope I see you guys next week, and I am looking, well, not next week, in 2 days, so I can do the second part of the MacArthur story. So let's get into it. Like, I will see you guys next week, and I will tell you about this crazy serial killer that shocked Toronto. So I will see you guys on Thursday. Bye.